Normally we have lots of questions, and I think because of the time, how many questions, Dolores, do you think we can do?
Oh, how about 6?
6 questions. All right. Please stand, give your name, and address whichever gentleman you want to ask the question. Yes, gentleman in the back.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One is on dealing with the extent of the problem this country is facing, and it relates to the military side. I'm a veteran, so I have a question. I heard part of something on a radio talk show that an admiral who was in charge as the comptroller, the guy who takes care of the books, in the beginning of the President George W. Bush's administration. Rumsfeld, I guess, was the Secretary of Defense. And allegedly, when he took over and looked at the books, he found he couldn't find accountability for $2 trillion plus of money. They don't know what was spent on. Now, I don't know if that's urban legend, apocryphal. I know there's a lot of missing money and missing accounting in the Pentagon. So if this is true, or even something approaching it, then another issue we have to talk about in all this thing is the C word, meaning corruption. Okay? Like a big stick up of the American people by the Pentagon, the brokers. So the question is that true? The other question is, what do we do about these attacks on our social safety net? Medicare that's come down the pipe, Medicaid, Social Security, and the attacks by robbing us for all the military machine.
Thank you.
Short answer. I can't tell you whether it's true or not, but I can tell you this. 22 years ago, they passed a law that said every department of the government has to be audited every year. The Pentagon has never been audited. Never. In those 22 years. So the reality is that probably it's true, and if it's not, it's true for other reasons, for other causes. What we're going to do about it? What I talked about, getting involved in organizations like PDA and the campaign and organizing our neighbors and going to, by the way, this afternoon, a delegation went to meet with the staff of Dianne Feinstein to deliver this message, and we did. And they said they would see to it she got the message tomorrow. The trouble is that Dianne Feinstein's husband is deeply invested in the military-industrial complex, and so it's going to take more than delivering a message. There needs to be organizations around the state who start going after her and demanding accountability.
As far as Social Security is concerned, I think we ought to go back to the origins of Social Security. How did it start? It started in the depths of the Great Depression when people formed Social Security clubs, independent of both political parties across the country. And it grew and it grew till there were clubs everywhere, and everyone was demanding some sort of retirement. FDR initially opposed it, but the clubs got so popular, and there's so many of them, and they demanded something be done that the Democrats then had to embrace the idea of Social Security. That's how it began, a grassroots movement. And if you want to save it, I think you got to have an independent grassroots movement of Social Security clubs once again. And the only thing that politicians listen to is when you're going to take their job from them. I'm not as optimistic that writing letters and petitioning and going and talking to these representatives is going to get you much, because they're already thinking how to get away with it on both sides of the political aisle there. Some not as aggressively as the others. But until you threaten to throw them out of office, with some alternative political movement, whatever the heck that is, they're not going to listen to you. They'll listen to the loss of their jobs. That's the only thing in the end they'll listen to. But I think there's got to be a grassroots movement of Social Security club. Let's start from the beginning.